Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. I'm tired of breaking these walls down. If you want it and shouldn't fly to home, but if you wanna try it out the pain, go away. I'm tired of yesterday. Fly. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, it's time to get back up, climbing and climbing. I'm done with this ride, is what I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my styling. Where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time stood still, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking and you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of yesterday.
About 20 games. Here's the moment you've been waiting for. To unleash more power on the road.
Look, Control GX from Just for Men.
Fantastic things start to happen when you step aboard a Princess cruise. Doors open up for you. Your favorite drinks start finding you. And everything seems to be just how you like it. How does it all happen? It's no secret. It's our job to discover what makes you feel special. Yes, you. And you. And you too. Making sure you feel taken care of. That's what a Princess cruise is all about. Get the Princess treatment with up to 40% off cruises to Alaska.
Rogers presents Stanley Cup Moments.
Gretzky picked it up, couldn't find it. Yzerman is turning and coming in. Another shot, score! Yzerman scores! Detroit wins the game. Detroit wins the series. And they go on. This is over.
You could experience moments like this live. Enter for your chance to win a VIP trip to the 2022 Stanley Cup Final. Enter now at Rogers.com/Stanley Cup.
Hey, you can help crown the next Kraft Hockeyville by voting on krafthockeyville.ca before 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific Saturday. The 4 finalists are Princeton, BC, Douro-Dummer, Ontario, Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, Quebec, and Sydney, Nova Scotia. Vote for the next Kraft Hockeyville by using your phone to scan the QR code right on your screen. The winner will be announced Saturday night during the first intermission of the Rangers-Penguins game on Hockey Night in Canada.
All right, it's time for your Gotta See plays with Brewers in Atlanta. Ronald Acuna Jr. Finally, an absolute moonshot. Projected to go 450 feet, his first home run since last July. Thank you, I drafted you. Swings so hard, he falls.
Okay, and then we're going to end with this. A's Twins. Look at the catch. Gilberto Celestino. Nice diving grab. And look, Jed Lowry. What just happened? What happened? That was pretty good. All right, well, night number 5 of, look, I can't even talk properly. It's been so
crazy night. Crazy night.
Night number 5 of the Stanley Cup playoffs absolutely did not disappoint. And
this is where it all counts.
It's playoff time. This is what the playoffs are about, people.
The NBA playoffs, right here on Sportsnet. In Game 2, Calgary was cold, but Dallas brought the heat.
He scores!
Can the Flames strike back?
And this series headed to Dallas, all even at 1.
Flames, Stars, Game 3 tonight. Sportsnet.
There's a better way to save on paint with Dulux.
Join hosts Arden and Ben for all the latest Jays news. Subscribe to @TheLetters Podcast, Sportsnet.
The things that matter most in hockey also matter most in life. But they still don't guarantee victory, even if you want them to. Even all the skill.
Ovechkin with a big play there. Washington walks in and scores! Just like that, Washington takes the lead.
Even all the fight.
The Caps have exploded in Game 2.
Even all the intensity, dedication,
Rosky full extension shows the split.
and desire that's landed you right here, all even.
I feel it coming now.
The Stanley Cup playoffs continue. Game 3.
DC for Game 3 indeed in the Stanley Cup playoffs. In the Eastern Conference, Florida Panthers, Washington Capitals, as we welcome you to the Verizon pregame. Jonathan Huberdeau and the Cats, they are the President's Trophy winners. They put up 5 goals on Thursday to even the series against Alex Ovechkin and the veteran Washington Capitals, who are on home ice with the series tied. With that, we say hello and thanks for joining us. Brian Boucher, Mike Monaco with you. Leah Hextall joins us in a moment. And Bouch, the Caps do have 2 power play goals so far, but big missed opportunity Game 2.
Yeah, if you look at the stats, you say 2 for 6 on the power play. Things are good for the Caps, right? Well, not so fast. In Game 2, they had a missed opportunity, a 4-minute power play when they were down 3-1 in the hockey game. Their entries were poor. Their execution was poor. And because of it, really, to me, this was the reason why they lost Game 2. I know they gave up a goal to make it 3-1. And, yeah, you can pin it on the goaltender, Vitek Vanacek. But to me, the power play simply didn't get the job done. Ovechkin had a couple of looks, but there was no traffic. You know, look, at the end of the day, your best players have to be your best players, and their power play is the best part of their team. They didn't get it done. I suspect if they get that opportunity today, it'll be a different story.
And it's got to be that way, especially going up against a team like the Florida Panthers. And for more on them, we say hello to Leah.
Mike, Florida's head coach Andrew Burnett was actually taken aback after Game 2 that his team was still playing with some nerves. He credits that to the fact that his team has not been in this position before, feeling the pressure of being Stanley Cup favorites, the President Trophy winners. They were focusing too much on looking ahead and not on the moment at hand. Let's remember, Florida has limited playoff experience, only 2 players with Stanley Cups compared to Washington's 13 players who have won a cup. But perhaps being here on the road, Mike, will help the Florida Panthers settle into this series.
Yeah, we will see, Leah, how much momentum carries over. Peter Laviolette said sometimes desperation is the heavier component. We will see today in Game 3. Series tied at a game apiece. It's the Cats and the Caps in DC. Next.
It's the rush to the playoffs, and with the NHL app, follow all the action during the season's final stretch to see who gets in and who doesn't.
Is there anything more fun than the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Every night before puck drop, the Sportsnet Hockey Insiders get you ready for all the night's playoff action.
Did you see that?
Hockey Central, every night. Sportsnet.
This is my story. People need to see this. 6 years ago, I was assaulted by the same man.
If you train to be
continue with pivotal Game 3.
The series tied at 1.
Rangers Penguins, Avs Preds. Then, tied at 1, it's the Flames and Stars in Dallas. Plus, the Grand Slam of Curling Champions Cup continues. It all happens today, and it's all on Sportsnet. Live stream on Sportsnet now.
Welcome to the Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN, presented by Geico. Game 3, and every fan here at Capital One Arena got a rally towel and the blinking LED light stick because they are ready to go. The Caps on home ice hosting the President's Trophy winners in the Florida Panthers, who took Game 2 after Washington won on the road in Game 1. As we get set, time now to send it to our PA announcer, Wes Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Washington Capitals and Boeing are proud to welcome Master Sergeant Lonnie Perrin II from the United States Air Force. To Master Sergeant Perrin II and to all of the men and women serving in our armed forces who are in attendance today, we thank you for your service. And now, please welcome the pride of DC, Bob McDonald and Caleb Green, as they perform today's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Job well done. Let's do it. From Washington, D.C., Game 3 on the way. And time now for our Honda starting goalies. Sergei Bobrovsky for the Panthers. He's been sturdy in the 2 games so far. 2-time Vezina winner. 60 saves on 64 shots. Now the question marks come at the other end of the ring. Ilya Samsonov starts. Vitek Vanacek started the first 2. Samsonov came in on the 3rd on Thursday.
Yeah, this is a bit of a surprise to me. I know Samsonov played well in that 3rd period, but to me, the series being tied 1-1, I don't know that you needed to make the switch in goal just yet. I wouldn't pin the loss entirely on Vitek Vanacek, but this is the decision that Peter Laviolette made, and let's see if Ilya Samsonov can come up with his first NHL playoff win.
Historically, in best of 7s, when it's 1-1, the Game 3 winner goes on to win the series 68% of the time. And up we go. We check out the starting lineups brought to you by Crypto.com. It's the top line for both these teams. And for Florida, that has Jonathan Huberdeau up with Barkov. His shot is gloved by Samsonov.
Yeah, that's the way they ended the last game in Game 2 for Andrew Brunette and his team. And for Huberdeau, I think he really enjoys playing with Alexander Barkov, and so Brunette keeps it that way to start the hockey game.
And Andrew Burnett told us today that that is a feel thing for him, when to pair up those two together.
Right, and if there's one guy that has a good feel for the game, particularly offensively, it's Andrew Burnett. He was a terrific offensive player, a guy that has great feel for the game. He's worn several different types of hats in the National Hockey League, and he's done a terrific job with this club as an interim head coach.
Face-off win for Washington with its fourth line. And they have some shifts as well for the live combinations in this one. Tom Wilson is out again for a second consecutive game. Only played 91 seconds in game one on Tuesday. That was that road win for Washington. And TJ Oshie goes up to the top line with Ovechkin and Evgeny Kuznetsov.
And Oshie's been good so far. He's been physical, and you keep in mind a lot of injuries for Oshie this season, but appears to be healthy, getting an opportunity on the top line here this afternoon.
Backstrom drops it off through center. The shot goes wide of the net. And Karam's out to center ice, where it's picked up by Dmitry Orlov. Game one, Peter Laviolette loved the performance, obviously, with that road win, and liked a lot of game two as well, as Sam Bennett got taken down, puck behind the net, and out of the right of Samsonov. Mantha over to Backstrom and over the line, and Backstrom's shot is covered up by Sergei Bobrovsky.
Well, we saw, some skirmishes and scrums as the game wore on in game two. And for Peter Laviolette, as you mentioned, Mike, he liked a lot of his team's game in game two. He thought the first 35 plus minutes or so was the way they wanted to play. The two chances they gave up in the first period ended up in the back of their net. He liked his team's desperation, knowing that Florida was going to have a response in game two. The game got away from him. He's hoping home ice can get them back on track here today and get the series lead.
Centering out in front, Van Riemsdyk got a tip. And then covered, and more extracurricular.
Boy, and every time you get the puck to the net, it allows you the opportunity to do that. Getting the Florida Panthers defense face. Van Riemsdyk does a good job here, not wasting time. He tries to get it there initially, gets blocked, but then back to the net quickly, knowing that there's bodies there. McMichael was there, Eller's there, and push back from Aaron Ekblad as well. But for the Caps, more pucks to the net and get the bodies there and hope they can get one here early on.
You mentioned Connor McMichael, 24, who draws in and now steps in to take the face-off opposite Claude Giroux. He's part of some line shuffling as well over these last couple of games for Florida. Rebound, Karam's out to the left of Bobrovsky. Shot knocked down by Gustav Forsling. 42 and white for Florida. Puck to the near side boards along the half wall. And Radko Gudas flips it out to center. Back toward the Washington line. Connor Sherry now on that third line. A guy that Peter Laviolette feels like he can plug in anywhere up and down the lineup for Washington.
Yeah, Sherry's one of those guys. He's like a Swiss Army knife in that regard. He can bounce around. He can play with skilled players. He's a tenacious player, a guy that has a lot of competitiveness, has some finish to his game as well. But this afternoon, Laviolette opting to go with TJ Oshie on that top line. So a little bit more, I think, physicality and size when you put Oshie on that top line with Kuznetsov and Ovechkin.
The 5 goals that Florida scored, they all came in a span of just over 21 minutes of game action. It was a flurry from the Panthers in game 2. Win the face-off here and send it the length of the ice for icing.
And the neutral zone for the Capitals, they've been able to handle that part of the game fairly well in this series, but it got away from them as the game went on in game 2. And I think that's going to be something to watch on here today. I mean, if the Florida Panthers start getting odd man rushes, that's where the Capitals will be in trouble. I think for Laviolette and his crew, they've done a good job of limiting those chances. Yeah, they gave up a couple of goals that were off the rush. I think it was just from playing them a little too loose, but if they can do that, they give themselves a chance here this afternoon.
Mason Marchment flips it into the corner. He's had a very active series so far these first couple of games for Florida. Oshie on the puck in the corner for the Capitals. Spills out to Martin Faravari, very talented young defenseman. Got it along for Ovechkin and guided off by Samsonov and held in by Florida. Ricochets off the boards and out to center, back toward the Florida end. Ovechkin in a foot race with Huberdeau tracking it down and Ovechkin delivering a hit.
A perfect opportunity. There's a penalty coming up on Washington.
And Huberdeau back the other way. He scores! likability for Florida. And Jonathan Huberdeau has the Panthers out to a 1-0 lead.
Well, Alex Ovechkin had the perfect opportunity to line up Jonathan Huberdeau earlier in the shift. And here it is. I mean, you get an awesome opportunity to lay the body on one of the skilled players for the Panthers, but then the puck goes down the other end of the ice, and this is one that early on in the game you just need a save from your goaltender. It's from distance, but it's a perfectly placed shot by Jonathan Huberdeau. Keep in mind, Huberdeau takes a hit at one end of the ice and then goes down the other end and buries the game's first goal.
The 17 shots that Ilya Samsonov saw on Thursday, a lot of them were from the perimeter, from long range from Florida.
You know, optically, you look at that shot, and you're just like, that's one that you expect the goaltender to come up with. The placement of the shot is very good, but it's just one of those that you expect your goaltender to come up with early on in a hockey game. So that'll certainly be a bit of a buzzkill for the Caps. Let's see if they can have a response.
8 goals in the playoffs for Florida from 8 different goal scorers, and this one from Jonathan Huberdeau, the Hart Trophy candidate who finished tied for second in the NHL in the regular season in points. Florida back in over the line. Another shot testing Samsonov from Sam Bennett, and back out to center.
Even that last opportunity, that was numbers for the Panthers. That's something that hasn't been there for a large part of this series. So the Panthers starting to feel good about themselves offensively.
Johan Larsson ringed it in. Now in the corner, touched along by Bennett. And swept out by Forsling. Puck comes to Garnet Hathaway. He was busy in game 2 in particular. Physical player on the 4th line for Washington. Centering out in front, Bobrovsky to his left. It was steered aside. Carter Verhaeghe on it. He's got 3 points so far in these first couple of games for the Panthers. Pass not intercepted by Florida. Now Larsson trying to center. And smothered by Bobrovsky as the Capitals come crashing in with Nick Dow.
Well, and you can see for the Caps the mindset of getting pucks to the net. They give up the game's first goal of the hockey game, but now it's about, hey, get pucks to the net, get bodies there. Schultz had an opportunity earlier in the shift to get the puck to the net, which I thought was a good decision. And here, Johan Larsson from a sharp angle. Sometimes these sharp angle plays can cause fits for goaltenders. Where the rebound goes, sometimes nobody knows. But the idea that you're getting bodies there and pucks there is a response that the Caps needed after giving up the first goal of the game.
We talked about Samsonov. Other side, what have you thought of Bobrovsky?
I think he's been sharp. I mean, a lot of question marks about Sergei Bobrovsky when we turn the page to the postseason, right? But he looks like a focused, confident goaltender, and he's looked that way all year long. Got off to a good start in this series.
A couple of John Carlson shots didn't come through from the point, but he banks it back into the corner for Lars Eller. Battling with Aaron Ekblad, who returned, of course, in game 1 from his lower body injury that kept him out the last month and a half. Taken away by Florida. They've got a chance back the other way. Giroux for Marchment, and a hit made by John Carlson.
Yeah, that stung Marchment. That's not something you see typically from John Carlson. Good job by Carlson to step up and get a body on a physical player like Marchment.
Pass out of the reach for Giroux. Tap back in by Connor McMichael, the youngster, who again draws back into the lineup. So at 2:45, Huberdeau from Anthony Duclair. And Florida leads in game 3 with the series tied at 1. Duclair couldn't get the pass over and tap back by the Capitals. Oshie rink wide for Ovechkin. Couple assists for him. Centering for Kuznetsov. Ovechkin still looking for his first goal of the series. Kept in. Ovechkin feeds it back along the wall. And then the pass didn't reach him. And Florida can't start it out.
I think that was a right decision by Ovechkin. He knew that there was a Florida Panther defender right in the shooting lane, so opted to give it back to Kuznetsov.
And after the offside whistle, a tie-up between Kuznetsov and Radko Gudas. Hey, the Stanley Cup playoffs continue with Game 3s today over on TNT. Avs Predators at 4:30, Rangers Penguins at 7. The nightcap, Flame Stars 9:30, and then tomorrow here on ESPN 12:30, it's Game 4. Hurricanes and Bruins, who got a must-win victory yesterday.
Yeah, good response by Boston. Jeremy Swayman picking up his first playoff victory. And how about the performance by Connor Ingram for the Nashville Predators? I mean, I don't think a goaltender can play much better than he did, and yet he still comes on the losing end.
Johansson trying to get it to the backhand. He's centered for Mantha, trying to get a shot off. Justin Schultz on a pinch, back in deep for Johansson. Pass unable to be kept in the zone by Van Riemsdyk. Verhaeghe throws it at Samsonov. Verhaeghe speeding in off the pads of Samsonov, and then centered off the side of the net. Here's Mantha. He's been ultra physical as well in 2 games. Big rebound spilled out toward Backstrom. Schultz gets it low. Back to the point. Mantha moves it. Ferravori centers. And Johansson out in front. And the Panthers clear.
This is a good start for the Capitals. Even though they're down 1-0, a lot of pucks to the net. A lot of second chance opportunities. The energy's there for the Caps right now. You know, if you're Peter Laviolette, you're harping on the positives and not the fact that you're down 1-0 in this game.
He was pretty positive as well, as we said, about how those first couple of games went down in Sunrise, Florida. And a penalty coming. Looks like a hold, and it is. Power play coming with Florida leading. Jonathan Huberdeau, the early marker for the Cats on the road against the Caps. The Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN are presented by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance.
This period of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by Scotiabank. See how we're changing the game at scotiabank.com/hockey for all.
Advice. Everybody's got some
play.
Well, a power play that really is not getting much done, but an interesting situation in front of the net. Ekblad stuck in the skate of Evgeny Kuznetsov, and if nothing else, provides a humorous moment for us here early in this game.
A little levity.
Yeah, why not? It's a game after all. It should be fun.
And now a tie-up off the face-off. Giroux and Johansson. No shots on the power play yet for Washington. With 20 seconds remaining, Giroux lifts it out and soaks some more seconds. 11:20 to go in the first period here in Washington, D.C. Mantha in over the line, gets it to the boards. Takes it back in the far side corner. Final few seconds ticking off. Lostarinen ready to come out. Here's Orlov centering, and the shot banned on partially by Sherry. Grabbed by Mackenzie Weegar and stick down by Florida out to neutral ice.
Well, they finally get a good look. Good play by Orlov to find Sherry in the slot, and there's that missed execution that we saw in game 2 on the power play. Sherry fans it, and a missed opportunity for the Caps.
Sherry's had some chances here these first couple of games of this series. Gloved down by Larson. One of the deadline acquisitions for Washington. He's pushed off the puck. And now Florida out through center. The pass out of the reach of Marchment for icing.
Not much going on for the Capitals on the power play, but the one opportunity that they do get, it's a second unit. Mantha cross seam to Orlov. Good patience by Orlov, and you can see Sherry look up to the heavens after that missed opportunity. As he knows, it was a good look in the slot. There haven't been many of these so far for the Caps on the power play in this series. The Panthers have done a good job of protecting the home plate area and not giving up many shots in that area on the power play. That was one opportunity they had, and Sherry simply shanked it wide.
10:26 to go in the first. Florida up 1-0 in game 3 with the series locked at a game apiece. Panthers, the President's Trophy winners, they had a historic season, the best regular season in franchise history. 122 points, 58 wins with a lethal, high-scoring offense. Lars Eller wrangles the puck free for Washington behind Samsonov. And out through center, knocked down by Alexander Barkov. He rams it back in.
How about that hand-eye coordination, huh? Just calmly pokes it down.
He is slick. Marchment got tangled up behind the play with a Washington player. Florida in over the line. Shot goes wide of the net. And back to Barkov along the wall. Knocked off the puck by Lars Eller. Nicely done. Yeah, you talk about the skill of Barkov and Huberdeau. How about the dandy of a goal they combined on in game 2 Thursday?
Yeah, and you know, the thing is that there wasn't much going on for the Panthers in that period, but you talk about skill. Huberdeau was able to shake and bake 2 players. Next thing you know, cross-seam feed, and they got themselves a 2-0 lead. That's what happens when you play the high-octane Panthers. You think you got them, and then you give them an inch, and they take a yard, and the next thing you know, the puck's in the back of the net.
Brought down with a stick by Claude Giroux, but Washington gets to it along the wall. Larson fighting for it. Gudis holds it in at the point. Tip out in front from Giroux. Goes to the far side half wall. Giroux takes a hit in the corner. And Riemsdyk clears the zone. This Washington team, its 8th straight trip to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Of course, that Stanley Cup in their history that Caps fans so revere. Tapped on at center. Florida in over the line with Patrick Hornquist, the veteran. He's gone up against the Capitals so many times in his time with the Penguins. And Nolan Chari got leveled by Ovechkin. Shot caroms out to the boards.
That's 2 big hits for Ovechkin so far in this game.
Wraparound try from Chari and covered by Samsonov with Hornquist out in front. Physicality from Alex Ovechkin. Washington down by 1 on home ice.
Yeah, Ovechkin's brought the physicality here this afternoon. 2 big hits. But the Caps find themselves down by 1 here in the first period of Game 3.
We're all about hustle.
In this game, Florida has had the jump on Washington. Down here at ice level, you can feel the difference between the speed between the Panthers and the Caps. And I believe that's why Alexander Ovechkin is so physical right now. He is trying to lead his team into the fight of this game as they trail 1-0.
Yeah, Leah, with a Washington team coming off a third period on Thursday that Peter Laviolette was not pleased with.
Yeah, he wasn't. And, you know, look, you don't want to say the word, you know, the Q word, where you stop playing, right? But
McMichael shoots wide of the net off a feed from Sherry. Back out to center.
Certainly the Capitals didn't finish the way they really wanted to, right? And that's really the main story in that third period. Samsonov was their best player. Why he got the start this afternoon. But they're looking to find a way to get this game evened up. I like their energy, but the Panthers obviously have the first goal of the hockey game.
Sherratt with some traffic in front. Sam Bennett was net front in front of Samsonov. Again, if you're just joining us, first start of this series for Ilya Samsonov in the Washington net after the first two for Vitek Vanacek. Lifted in by Orlov. Uyghur pursues. Oshie with it along the half wall. And picked off. He's trying to get it deep for Kuznetsov. Uyghur vaults it in. Just outside the trapezoid. And along the wall, touched on out of the zone. And they'll play back to Ekblad. Under 7 to go, first period in Washington. Brian Boucher, Leah Hextall, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you from D.C. Back around for Duclair. With Ovechkin draped on him. Ekblad fires one off the stick of Huberdeau. Runs it down. Tries to elude a hit. No trip on the play. Carlson, another hit on Huberdeau. Oshie battling in the corner. Takes some contact from Huberdeau. Body spilling out in that near side corner. Washington with the puck with Oshie. Here's Kuznetsov. That goes off of Oshie. Trying to get it wide back door. Huberdeau. Couldn't get through Van Riemsdyk. And now Giroux moves it for Forsling, and that puck goes up into the netting and out of play. .6:01 to go in the first period. It's the Panthers leading the Capitals 1-0. Face off to the right of Samsonov, and the Capitals pick it up.
You know, that was a win by Giroux, but a little cross up between his winger where he was going after that face-off win allowed to the clear for the Capitals. Giroux very good on draws, and for Andrew Brunette, when it comes to changing lines, for Giroux, some of it has to do with face-offs and where he wants draws taken, and that's why sometimes Giroux will be playing anywhere from the second, the third, to sometimes the first line where he started when he came over from Philadelphia. He's been a real nice addition to this Panthers team.
Mantha drive off the right pad of Bobrovsky. He was the prize of the trade deadline a couple of days before he got dealt after his 1,000th and final game with the Flyers. Chipped in. Orlov in pursuit. Slips it down for Mantha off the skate of Montour. Sam Bennett comes over. Avoids a hit. Off a Marchment stick. And Giroux picks it up. Moved on back into the Washington end. Under 5 to go in the first. Broken up by Gudis, and Washington reloads. Reinhart chips that out of play. 4:42 to go. First period in D.C., and it's the Panthers leading the Capitals 1-0.
This period of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by Scotiabank. See how we're changing the game at scotiabank.com/hockeyforall.
It's good to play. So take a time out now. It's easy to do. Just log in and set your timeout length. Simple. You can even customize it. Say Monday morning until Friday night, or those times you wouldn't want to miss. However you decide to play safe at Bet365.
If you really want to find out what you're made of, you can forget the personality tests and social media quizzes, because the only way you're ever going to know is by heading into the big, wild, raging, so damn beautiful it hurts world and finding out for yourself. Were you born to follow a path, or were you born free? These are the things we thought about when we made the new Grand Cherokee. Made for what you're made of.
The Coyote Tractor Champions Cup, May 5th to 8th on Sportsnet.
Andrew, you said that your team has yet to dictate the pace of play in this series. How do you feel they're doing thus far in the first?
We're coming. Yeah, we're coming. I think we expected a big push from them. They're playing hard. They're playing in our face here, and we'll get going.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think he's being positive right there. I think what's probably standing out to me about the Panthers is just off the rush, there's not a lot. They score the first goal of the hockey game. The Huberdeau shot, he's been taken off on that left wing, but by and large, there's not a lot happening through the neutral zone for them rush-wise. And I think that's something that he'd like to see probably improve, but sometimes you have to give credit to the opposition. The Caps have done a good job of limiting those opportunities throughout the series. So really, this has been a very hard-fought physical series so far.
Barkov back in. Duclair wrangled it away, and Barkov's shot is saved by Samsonov. Let's go down to Leo.
Well, we just saw Noel Chari and Kuznetsov getting into it on the ice. It continued on here at the bench. Chari has informed Kuznetsov that he is done. And meanwhile, Kuznetsov's response was just wiping away some little tears of Chari on the bench.
Sure, that won't be the last time those two talk to one another. The beauty of a playoff series when you see each other every other day.
From a mere mortal up here, Brian, who has never experienced it, I got to imagine the playoff chirps are pretty good.
They are. And typically the backup goaltender who's on the bench, he gets the best seat in the house for all the chirps. So I've been able to hear some in my day.
Shot lifted high from the point by Florida. Held in along the half wall in a board battle. Back out to Washington and floated through center. Ekblad runs it down, banks it off the wall, picked off by Nick Dowd. And Faravari moves it. Break wide for Dowd. He'll get it in deep, but it goes off the netting with 3:17 to go here in the first. Follow the NHL on social media for behind-the-scenes coverage of the biggest moments, original content with your favorite players, and highlights from the best plays in hockey. We've had a lot of them this first week of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It has been exciting, hasn't it? We've seen some goaltending stories around the NHL. That always seems to be a main focal point come playoff time.
Crunching hit at center ice between the benches, right in Leah's grill. And Washington with it with Orlov. Touched along for Johansson. Couldn't get past Montour. Mantha in behind. Centers out in front. It's loose and what a save. Bobrovsky denying Backstrom. Orlov moves it. Orlov centering and rejected to the boards by Florida. Big time save from Bobrovsky.
Wow. And you think about it, I think the initial attempt was fanned on by Backstrom, which made it even more difficult of a save. Big hit there by Sam Bennett on Nick Jensen.
And a cross check will put the Panthers on the power play.
Well, just an unreal save. Moments before the penalty taken. Play from behind the net. The initial attempt fanned on, and Bobrovsky able to stay with it. And I don't know how he does. I mean, this is where your athleticism takes over. And watch the flexibility for Bobrovsky, but his eyes. I mean, he never took his eye off the puck. Made not one, but two saves. The second one off the backside. And Bobrovsky finds a way to keep Washington off the board with two terrific saves in this game.
And now as Anthony Mantha sits on the cross check, 2 minutes of power play time for the Cats, leading by 1.
Well, before that penalty by Mantha, there was a big time hit by Sam Bennett on Nick Jensen on the forecheck. And now the Panthers have an opportunity to go up by 2 on the power play after their goaltender bailed them out.
Huberdeau along the wall, sends it back in, past Reinhart. And Markov in the near side corner. It's a very good power play unit for Florida over the course of the season, but it changed its look, of course, with Aaron Ekblad returning at the start of this series after missing that month and a half. He moves it along for Huberdeau. Back to the point along the line, Ekblad. Under 2 to go in the first. Back for Huberdeau with some room. He shoots. Reinhart net front. Capitals get to it, and Eller clears. There had not been a lot of time when this group had been able to work together, because when Ekblad got injured, it was later that Claude Giroux showed up. They're both on PP1 for the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, it's a good point, right? I mean, you know, Ekblad being out, Giroux, the new guy coming over. So not a lot of time to work together. Something that they're going to try and iron out as these playoffs go on. And certainly a very talented group. There's no doubt about that.
Taken away, and then Bennett corrals it for Florida. Coming up on 1 to go in the first. Crown likes the PK effort so far from the Capitals with 35 left. Knocked down by Kuznetsov. Back in for Sherry. Spinning along the wall, lost an edge, and now Hornquist. Coming up on the final 20 seconds of the Mantha Minor. Back to the point. Here's Bennett. He feeds the circle, and a one-timer misses the net. And back out to center ice. Uyghur, as Montour had to get out of the zone, and now here comes a penalty.
Florida, number 52, 2 minutes for holding the stick.
Very good job by the Washington Capitals on the penalty kill. And towards the end, Uyghur stripped to the puck. I don't know if Uyghur grabbed much of the stick. I got caught in his skate, and that's what ended up pulling the skate out of the hands of Hathaway. Wasn't really a hold, as it was more that his skate got on that stick. So an unfortunate break for Uyghur. And for Andrew Burnett, a power play that didn't yield very much. We'll have to come up with a kill here late in this period.
After 2 seconds, Mantha comes out of the box, centering and scores! Came from Ovechkin, might have been tipped in front. This game is tied at 1.
It'll be a power play goal. It hit something on the way in. There's no question about that. Here, the Caps player out of the box. It's a power play goal. I think Oshie may have gotten a piece of this on the way in. Get a better look here. Ovechkin smart to get it there as quickly as possible, and a terrific tip there by TJ Oshie in the front. Sometimes it's not how hard you get it to the net. It's about how quickly you get it there, and Ovechkin quickly gets the puck there, and Oshie does the rest.
The Q Country Roads, which means one man, TJ Oshie. Feels like he is always involved in the big moments. And this game is tied at 1 at the end of the first. In these final 10 seconds, Hornquist is still tangled right in front of the bench. Achari was involved as well, and so was John Carlson.
And Leah got a real good view of that. Physical scrum that just took place. Oshie with a big hit on Hornquist. And Oshie, the goal scorer in this period, you can tell got a little jolt of energy, and Ovechkin with a little chop, another chop. Got away with a couple of cross checks there, no doubt, but here's the hit by Oshie as he cross checks Hornquist along the wall, and we probably should be talking to Leah about what's going on in front of her, as she's the one that had the best view in the house.
Oh, all right. So I'll tell you right now. Noel Achari once again, Kuznetsov getting back and forth into it, but Hornquist did not look like he was a happy camper as he took several hits right in front of me and got taken down, but you got to give him credit. He contained himself, although I think he just got tossed out of the face-off circle there. But either way, he contained himself right in front of us. Wow. That was some big men doing damage right there in front of me.
And with 9.2, we will try to get to intermission without any more huge hits. How fun were those 20 minutes? Boy, we are just getting started. More extracurriculars.
Well, for the Capitals, to me, it was all about their penalty kill late in that period. A really good kill, and then the quick strike on the power play, and now they've got all tons of energy as they head into the intermission break. A big-time goal for the Caps in this series.
1-1 after 1 in Game 3, with the series tied at 1 game apiece. Wow. 2 more periods to come here from Capital One Arena. With Hillary Knight and Kevin Weeks, we go back to the studio. Here's the purveyor of Parm.
Oh, you talk about a crispy snipe. Holy schnipe.
In 5-on-5, I thought we played well, so I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing and have a good second period.
This is tie game at 1 apiece. You just mentioned you like what you're doing. What is that?
I mean, obviously we're a fast team, so we got to keep skating, some puck on that traffic, and play in their zone as much as possible.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Huberdeau, not a good playoff goal scorer in his career coming into this game.
Presented by Geico. Washington, D.C. after the first period. Florida and Washington tied at 1. Time for today's game recap brought to you by Progressive and Brian Boucher. It started with a Washington penalty kill.
Pivotal moments in a hockey game, right? We talked about game 2, the missed opportunity on the power play for the Caps. Well, now it's the penalty kill. They had to do a job in that first period, down 1-0 late in the period, yet their penalty kill, to me, was the star of the period. They were able to negate opportunities, play in the offensive zone, and then eventually Hathaway able to draw that penalty, and then quickly off the face-off win, and ends up being a power play goal to redirect by TJ Oshie. So very important for the Capitals, and you can see the energy that they gained after this. After they score, all of a sudden now everybody wants to hit everybody. They go to the locker room charged up, happy. Could have been a much different story if they give up a power play goal at the end of that period, but the Caps did a good job on the penalty kill.
A first period where we had a combined 37 hits. You see the scoring chances did favor the Capitals, and we are tied at 1 with the series tied at game 1 as well. Boosh, Mike Monaco, Leah Hextall with us as well, and really encouraging finish, like you said, and now for Washington, carry that momentum.
Yeah, they want to carry that over. There's no question. Take that energy that they gained late in that period. As you heard the guys in the studio say, it's important for the Florida Panthers. The skating game really hasn't been there enough for me so far. It's not like the regular season. It's important that they get pucks to areas in the offensive zone behind the Caps defense to establish a forecheck, establish a cycle game. Let's see if they can get to that, because, I mean, the Panthers team that we saw in the regular season able to score off the rush at will, it just has not been there. They're going to have to find different ways to generate offense.
What's your confidence level that they are capable of that when playoff hockey is so different than the regular season?
I'm very confident that they can do it. They have the guys that are willing to play that type of game. You know, your Sam Bennett's and Mason Marchmans. You know, these types of guys. They're not going to back down from the opposition. So they have the ability to play that way if need be. I just think they got to find a way to soften up the Caps a little bit by playing that way, and then maybe the rush game will present itself later on in this game or perhaps later in the series.
Well, 30 seconds into the second period, and a hit at center ice and a stoppage at 19:30 here. After Huberdeau got the scoring started at 2:45, we showed it the Oshie tip at 19:34. Washington on the power play. Ton of hits and a lot of momentum for the Capitals headed to the dressing room.
Yeah, and Huberdeau is going to be a guy that's going to try and change their momentum as well. The one thing I noticed from him in that first period was, you know, he's trying to stretch on that left side of the ice. He's looking for home run passes to use his speed. You heard him talk to Leah during the intermission too. They want to get their skating game. He can kind of, I don't want to use the word cheat. He can anticipate and try to find those plays to generate.
Washington.
You could say his goal scored was a play similar to that, but he wants to get skating and use his speed on that left wing. Let's see if he can get to it here in a second.
Risky Florida pass, and as they start to break out, it goes back into the Washington end. Jensen gets it from Orlov. Been sturdy D pairings all season long for Washington. They rim it around. Kuznetsov centers off maybe unintentional deflection, and now Sam Bennett back the other way, and Bennett fires wide of the net. Back in deep. Jensen trying to spin away from Bennett. He took it away to the slot, and a save. Samsonov on Montour.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, right? You know, Bennett goes in there, wins a puck battle, creates an opportunity. It's not off the rush. It's off of being physical and playing hard. Good job by Bennett to get in there, get his nose dirty, and create that opportunity.
Bennett, a guy you like.
I do. To me, built for the playoffs. Proved it last year against the Lightning.
Shot goes wide. Another good look for Florida. That's from Anton Lundell. One of the guys that Andrew Burnett says the way he plays matches up with playoff hockey. Knocked out at center. Here comes Washington in over the line with Schultz for Mantha. He centers, and off the stick of Washington back out toward the half wall. Florida pounces on it with Lundell. 20-year-old who became the third youngest Florida Panther to score a Stanley Cup playoff goal. He had one of the tallies on Thursday. Mantha gets it rink wide toward his own bench. Banked out the end boards behind Bobrovsky. He had the biggest singular save of that first period. Goes to Renan, speeds back. Washington along the wall. Now Hornquist with it. Came over on Nola Chari, and Martin Faravari gets whistled for the penalty.
Well, for the Panthers, a good start to this period. Here's the work by Sam Bennett, winning a puck, creating an opportunity, and Samsonov having to come up with a real good answer to start this period. But a good job by Florida to get in there and be willing to get your nose dirty to create that chance. And then later on in the play, Nola Chari does a good job of sidestepping Martin Faravari right here. And that right leg of Faravari trips Nola Chari, and the Panthers will get another opportunity here on the power play.
We showed you they were 0 for 1. Good Caps kill in the first. Just one shot on that power play in the first period for Florida. And back out toward the Panthers' end. Ekblad floats it ahead for Huberdeau with some space and a nice closing play defensively by Jensen. Huberdeau gets it back to the point. Off Barkov's skate back to Ekblad. Now along the wall, it's Claude Giroux back to the point for Ekblad. He fires one up high. Karam down toward the left circle. Jensen locates, spinning away toward the corner, and almost cleared by Washington, and now they do.
Well, initially, a real good pass by Ekblad to Huberdeau, but a defensive play by Nick Jensen, which I think Huberdeau would have had a pretty good look if not for the stick of Nick Jensen.
He closed quickly, and now Barkov doesn't get all of it with Orlov draped all over him. Panthers get it around to Huberdeau along the boards. 85 assists in the regular season, goes rink wide. Barkov snaps one wide. 50 seconds to go on the Faravari minor.
Yeah, and still not much from the top unit. They had the initial shot from Ekblad. It was a shot that Samsonov left the rebound off of, but still not much going on for the top unit for the Panthers.
There's pass, didn't find a home, and now Washington takes over. Kuznetsov skates it up ice. He tries one on Bobrovsky. Easily paddled away. Just over 4 minutes into the second period. 20 seconds remaining. Here's Montour. Backhand off the stick of Jensen. Now Kuznetsov blasts it out of there.
Two good sticks by Jensen on this penalty goal. Another good one there. Sometimes it's not about being physical. It's about stick positioning, and Jensen's been good so far in this PK.
And it hangs on to it. Got it to Uyghur into the glove. Ilya Samsonov, and the Caps kill off another.
Yeah, an easy save there for Samsonov off that shot by Uyghur. Early on the power play, Ekblad with a beautiful outlet pass here to Jonathan Huberdeau. You can see beautiful sauce pass, and it looks like Huberdeau is going to get a terrific opportunity, but Jensen recovers terrifically and is able to get his stick on that. That probably would have been the best opportunity for the Panthers on the power play. The missed shot by Barkov, and then another good stick here by Jensen. So for the Capitals, two very good kills in this game so far.
Now the Panthers a face-off win, and Forsling flips it wide to the right of Samsonov. And Johan Larsson nudges it out to center ice. Hathaway, a big hit right into the kitchen of Leah. Guarded Hathaway on that fourth line for Washington, and a penalty upcoming at 14:59 with Bobrovsky just starting to head to his bench.
Well, for the Caps, their penalty kill has been very good, but you're playing with fire, right? And eventually, at some point, you got to think that they're going to get it going. The physicality by Hathaway on Gudas. Leah's okay. He didn't get hit. And then in the corner, in the offensive zone, Schultz with the interference. And the Panthers get another power play here in quick fashion here in the second period.
Schultz sits. Panthers 0 for 2 so far. And now for the post. And Samsonov gets a whistle. It was between his legs.
Well, we'll take a look at the penalty by Justin Schultz. Bottom half of your screen, the stick gets in the skate of Mason Marchment, and it's the right call made by the officials. And for the Panthers, that first shot just now by Barkov, I like that idea. Traffic in front, simplify, get it to the net, force Samsonov to have to find that puck. I think maybe a little bit too cute so far in the power plays for Florida. Maybe simplify and just get pucks there.
Well, they're 0 for 8. They've got Ekblad off this unit. Anthony Duclair onto it. That's a move that Andrew Burnett said they could go to at some point in this series, and that's what they do. Duclair sliding back in. Here's Huberdeau in space. Whistles one wide. Giroux back for Huberdeau. Off a skate in front and down clears.
Well, you talked about it earlier, right? I mean, a group that had not been together all year long, so they put the 5 forwards back together, and already it seems a bit more dangerous.
It was clicking well before Ekblad returned with the start of these Stanley Cup playoffs. Huberdeau back for Barkov. He skates with it along the line. Gets it to Duclair. Back for Huberdeau. Barkov thought about it. Duclair. 55 seconds remaining on the power play. Traffic in front again from Reinhart. Giroux was hounded, and it clears the zone. And now Florida offside.
Now, that was a hard play by Hathaway on Giroux. And Giroux didn't like it. He and Hathaway have words right now. Giroux thinks he's got time to keep this puck in. But Hathaway simply just outmuscles him. I guess Giroux's calling for a trip. Seeing the fact that they've gotten 2 consecutive power plays, you'd probably bet that it's not going to go your way.
Hathaway, who got the 10-minute misconduct in the final 3 minutes of Game 2 on Thursday. And now we drift under 40 seconds remaining on this Florida power play. Mason Marchment over the red line. Now gains the line. Played along for Hornquist. Now Marchment. Final 20 seconds. Back to the line. Here's Ekblad. That gets blocked by Sherry. And then sent just wide. Samsonov got a piece of it. Along the wall. Wrangled back to Ekblad. Moves it along. Good pass. Here's Marchment shooting. Rebound out in front. Hornquist couldn't get a shot off. And cleared by Washington.
Yeah, good save there by Samsonov on that last look. And the Panthers with the adjustment on the power play, moving Ekblad to the second unit. Things are looking a little bit more dangerous on the power play for the Panthers. Burnett may have stumbled on something here.
Florida now 0 for 9 in this series on the power play. Ovechkin goes down right at the line. And now Ekblad pursues in the corner against Backstrom. 12:30 to go here in the second period. 1-1 our score in Game 3. The series tied at a game apiece. And it is now turned here to D.C. Lundell takes a hit. Here's Verhaeghe. Stops at the line, gets it deep for Achari. Met back there by Mantha. And Backstrom picks it up. Jabbed out to neutral ice. Now Johansson pivots back. Schultz, rink wide, picked up. He was searching for Johansson. Now Giroux stops. Gets it along. Here's a drop from Kunis. Just missed the net. Off a ricochet in front. Eller back for the Capitals. Gets it for Johansson, dragging past Giroux. And no penalty called back to the line. Here's Schultz, top of the circle, got it for a one-timer for Eller. Didn't get all of it. And now that goes out of play. 11:26 to go in the second, still tied at 1.
Yeah, Ilya Samsonov getting the start here in Game 3, doing his part on the penalty kill here to start the second period. A couple of big saves so far for the Washington netminder, and the score is still tied at 1.
You really can't get much.
Tell Siri, turn on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, that's the way to do it here at Capital One Arena. Packed house for this one, Game 3. Caps and Cats. 1-1 hour score. Face off to the left of Sergei Bobrovsky. As TJ Oshie motors ahead for Washington. The puck on the stick of Mason Marchment out through center. Touched along by Losterinen and covered by Samsonov. Washington took game 1 on the road Tuesday 4-2. Florida answered Thursday 5-1. And now tied at 1, 11-14 to go in the second. Florida with an offensive zone faceoff, but it's won by Washington. And they peel out of there with Kuznetsov. Finding Dmitry Orlov with speed up ahead. Orlov drops for Oshie. His backhand feed looking for Ovechkin. Couldn't corral it cleanly. Carlson back in. The Ovechkin line heads off. Florida in over the line, sent deep. Duclair trying to be on the receiving end. Now Kuznetsov. Mantha in over the line. Back along to Huberdeau. Got it ahead, and Montour and the Panthers onside. Barkov's pass down to Huberdeau. Huberdeau with it, takes it below the goal line. Centering out in front, what a save, Samsonov. Barkov tried to jam it home. Washington back in the other way, dropped off for Mantha. Mantha on a backhand that gets knocked down. Rebound, score! Marcus Johansson gives Washington the lead, and what a momentum swing on both ends of the ice.
Well, you get the save at one end of the ice by Samsonov. Good work down low by the Panthers, and look at that left pad. Is that something else or what? And then the Caps go down the other end of the ice. Mantha with a real good individual effort to get to a scoring area, and once he does that, it opens things up. The initial attempt doesn't get there. Johansson able to find the loose change, and the energy that was built towards the end of that first period is alive and well right now in the second.
And on the strength of 2 more kills here in the second as well. Judas flings it into the netting. 9:49 to go. Washington leads this game.
Great job by Mantha getting to the middle of the ice. The block by Sherratt, but it goes right on the tape of Johansson, and the Washington Capitals find themselves with a 2-1 lead.
The heavy.
I'll tell you this, you said that energy is another word for desperation. Do you guys have enough enough energy to close this out?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had good energy for most of the periods. I didn't like the third last game, but the energy's been pretty good. Great in the building here tonight. The fans have been fantastic. Our guys got some juice. It's a great hockey game.
You tinkered with your lineup. The biggest move was the goaltender. Samsonov is paying off right now, Coach.
Yeah, he just made a really big save right there in front of our net, but he's been real good. Big guy, athletic. He's done a really good job. So we got to keep playing well in front of him. That always helps with goaltending, but right now he's done the job. Good energy for most of the periods. I didn't like the third last game, but the energy's been pretty good.
Well, I was the one that, after the start of the game, I said, I thought you go with Vanacek to start the game. I'm being proven wrong halfway through the game. Samsonov with a huge save, and that's what
he just made a really big save right there in front of our net, but he's been real good. Athletic, he's done a really good job. So we got to keep playing.
It's the greatest.
From Rushman. Played the third period, of course, in game 2, made those 17 saves, and comes up with a huge one that eventually leads to the Capitals' go-ahead goal here in the second, courtesy of Marcus Johansson. Marchment and Florida offside.
Well, we'll go back to the 2-1 goal for the Capitals. It all starts in their own zone. Samsonov, the left pad save, and then the transition for the Capitals going the other way. What I like here is the patience by Backstrom and then the ability by Mantha to get to the middle of the ice. And once he does that, he tries to get it to the net. Yeah, he gets a fortuitous bounce, but it's a skilled play of Backstrom and the skill of Mantha that allows him to get to that area that eventually allows Johansson to get that loose puck. None of it starts without the big save by Samsonov.
Centering Marchment is denied by Samsonov. Thrown back in wide of the net. And Samsonov again standing tall for Washington. Lundell on a wraparound that got through to Reinhart. And frozen by Samsonov.
Well, listen to this crowd. I mean, the appreciation for their goaltender here this afternoon. The feed by Reinhart to Marchment. Marchment bats that out of midair. I mean, that is terrific hand-eye coordination, but an even better save by Samsonov. And then here's Reinhart with the follow-up. Samsonov wasn't sure where the rebound went. It was stuck in between his arm and his blocker. He has been sharp, no doubt about that. 18 saves in the afternoon for Samsonov.
Peter Laviolette said, coming into the playoffs, we're going to need to count on both because that's what we've done all season. They each made 39 starts in the regular season, and other than pockets of the year, there was not much separation between he and Vitek Vanacek.
Yeah, I think the one thing about these two guys is that neither has been able to carry that ball for long periods of time. When one guy falters, the other guy picks it up. And I guess in the long run, there's nothing wrong with that.
Got a penalty coming here. And out through center as Samsonov heads off to the bench. Capitals will try to get the extra skater on, and they do. 6 on 5 here with 8:30 to go in the second. Patient with Backstrom. Claire on the forecheck for Florida. Here's Metsov, wheels back. And broken up, and Washington will go to the power play. from the left circle. At the wiggling by. Now Uyghur in deep for Florida defensively. He gets stapled to the puck behind the net of Bobrovsky. Brought down to the right of Bobrovsky. And now Johansson. We're back to even strength. Duclair out of the box. One shot there, that Ovechkin attempt. And coming up on 6 to go in the second. Touchdown by Ryan. Here's Nick Dow. Flipping it in toward Bobrovsky into the near side corner. Banked out by Bennett, but picked off. Larson speeding behind the goal line. Found Orlov. Orlov centering off the stick of Dow. Giroux picks it up. Here come the Panthers. And Giroux in over the line. Sherratt joining the fray. His shot goes wide. And back out toward the Florida end. Hathaway went down in the neutral zone. Here's Marchment now. Trying to weave through traffic. He can't. Well defended by Washington and Jensen. Held in by Forsling. Thrown back deep in the direction of Bennett. Sherry gets to it, takes a hit from Gudis. Touchdown by Larson, and he'll peel back. Under 5 to go in the second period. Arena gets to it. Now Marchment got clipped in behind. And knocked down as Eller was trying to evacuate. Off the stick of Hornquist. Brought down by Losterinen, and now Carlson uses his reach. And touchdown by the Capitals. They're in here. Sherry feeding it across, looking for Eller.
I'm not sure what Sherry saw. There was nobody open on that backside, and the crowd let him know that they wanted him to shoot that puck.
That's some chances that have left him shaking his head in this series, so opted for a pass there. Top line for Washington. Here's Ovechkin spilling out of the zone. Back to Schultz.
Of course, it's always so much easier from sitting in the stands and sitting up here in the press box to ask, you know, what did he see there? But no doubt a missed chance there for the Caps.
Under 4 to go. Kuznetsov in pursuit. Ekblad lost it. Washington with it. Kuznetsov fans on it. He centers for Ovechkin and brought down by Verhaeghe. Self-pass up ahead. He tries to run it down. Jensen back for Oshie. Can't clear the zone. Good play by Barkov. Such a good 200-foot player. Here's a chance. Uyghur shot denied. Samsonov another stop. One-timer from Huberdeau goes wide. Uyghur gets it back behind for Barkov. Barkov gets it back to the right point. Moved along. Ekblad a one-timer wide. Sent back toward the left post. Samsonov closed on it. Held in. Now Uyghur. Ekblad again tries with bodies in front. Uyghur skates in midpoint. Uyghur in the direction of Verhaeghe. Less than 3 to go in the second. Still held in. Right at the line. And Backstrom skates to it for the Capitals, who clear.
Well, the Panthers continue to have a strong period. They're down in this hockey game, but they've won several pucks on walls to create opportunities. Just not able to solve Samsonov.
Tour shot easily handled by Samsonov, and now Sherratt. Pirouettes in the corner, dropped it off for Bennett, short side. Samsonov again with 2:28 to go in the second. Washington leads game 3, 2-1. Off the rebound, Marcus Johansson as the Capitals in front of the Panthers.
Has been really good in his first start of this series. 13 saves in this second period. The Florida Panthers, aided by a couple of power plays to start this period. That's why they've had a lot of zone time and a lot of attempts. Shot attempts 31-7 in favor of the Florida Panthers in this period, yet Ilya Samsonov has found an answer for every single one of those shot attempts that got to the net. And a big reason why this Capitals team is holding a 2-1 lead this afternoon is because of the play of this guy right here.
Vitek Vanacek gave up all 5 goals that Florida scored in Game 2. And Samsonov here in Game 3. Washington leads 2-1 with 2:20 to go in the second period. Brian Boucher, Leah Hextall, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you in Washington, D.C. All the way back down for icing with 2:10 to go. Well, the Stanley Cup playoffs continue. Game 3s today elsewhere. They're over on TNT. Avalanche and Predators 4:30. Avs up 2-0. Rangers and Penguins. That series tied. So too is the Flames and Stars. And then tomorrow here on ESPN 12:30. Game 4. Carolina and Boston. Face off to the left of Ilya Samsonov. Florida's won 52% of the draws in this one, and the Capitals collect the puck along the near half wall. Now to center ice and back to the Florida end with Uyghur. Past him, find Huberdeau. Hear it all the time with Washington. They clog up the neutral zone. Had so much success with that in Game 1 against Florida. Lifted back to the right point. Ekblad shovels it. Huberdeau tried to swat at it. Uyghur goes body to body with Carlson. And picked up by Hathaway. Coming up on the final 90 seconds here in the second. Bobrovsky guides it into the far side corner. Backstrom on it for the Capitals. Washington finishes off a change. Mantha trying to win the puck. He does. He gets it to the slot. And a save. Bobrovsky on Backstrom. Fired back across. Shot. Goal! Oh, what a snipe. And the lead is 2 for the Capitals. Van Riemsdyk makes it a 3-1 margin.
Well, it all starts with the work from Anthony Mantha. The forecheck, the winning the puck back. We've seen a lot of it from the Panthers in this period, but Mantha does his own job here. Winning the puck and then eventually the feed by Johansson to Trevor Van Riemsdyk and a perfectly placed shot. He's able to get it past the shot blocker, Uyghur, and picks the top half of the net. No chance for Bobrovsky. Good hard-working shift pays off with the finish by Van Riemsdyk.
Second career playoff goal for the 8th-year veteran who had just 1 goal in the regular season. And Van Riemsdyk makes it a 2-goal cushion for the Capitals. Off a turnover. Florida back in and laying out defensively there, Van Riemsdyk. Done that a few times in this series. Held in by Marchment. Battling with Mantha and pried free by Johansson. And icing with 33.1 to go in the second.
Well, look at Van Riemsdyk and another look at the goal and the work by Mantha to win that puck. And the feed by Johansson to find Van Riemsdyk. And Trevor looks more like his brother James there with the finish. Something we typically see from his brother that is a forward, but Van Riemsdyk then after that made a really good defensive play on a feed by Marchment. And the Capitals continue with the positive energy here in the second period.
Goal and an assist for Johansson here in this period. Floated into the glove of Samsonov. This crowd is charged up in D.C.
And you wonder if...
And now behind the play, Bennett down to the ice.
Yeah.
Battling, I think, with Mantha.
Bennett's one of those guys. I mean, he is a fiery type of player who doesn't back down. And Mantha's a big fella as well, who's seems to be getting healthy. Had shoulder surgery earlier in the season. He's been much more physical in this series. We'll see how this shakes out. And Hornquist gets in there. I mean, that's something that we expect from Hornquist, right? He goes right in the goalie's face and has a word or two for the Capitals defenseman. It looks like he's talking into an arm there, but
4 minutes.
Crowd likes that. 4 minutes for Florida, 2 for Washington.
Well, and in those scrums, I mean, those are the areas of the game where you want to stay disciplined. You know, in a playoff series, discipline reigns supreme, and you got to control your emotions in those instances. And for the Panthers, an extra penalty taken, and the Capitals with another opportunity on the power play to extend the lead even further.
With just over 25 seconds left here in the second. Washington by 2 with another opportunity. Going on a 4th power play against Andrew Burnett and the Florida Panthers.
You know, and this game is interesting because it feels to me in this period the shot chances, the opportunities were in favor of the Panthers, yet it's the Capitals that have the lead. In game 2, it was vice versa. The Capitals were the team that had the more quality of opportunities, yet weren't able to cash in. And the Panthers were the ones that came away with a 5-1 victory. So it's funny how each game has its own identity, but the Caps have been able to be opportunistic and are riding the play of a strong afternoon of their goaltender, Ilya Samsonov, as well.
Covered up with 9.9 left in the second. We told you, historically, in best-of-7 series, when they're tied 1 apiece, the Game 3 winner goes on to win the series 68% of the time. Off a face-off win, back to Carlson. That got knocked down, didn't make it through all the way toward Bobrovsky. And sent the length of the ice to finish up period number 2. The Capitals on home ice have the lead by 2. Trevor Van Riemsdyk with the most recent tally for the Washington Capitals in this one. He and Marcus Johansson, the goal scorers, and a 3-1 lead for Washington here at Capital One Arena. With Hillary Knight and Kevin Weeks, we go back to Bucci in the studio.
Yeah, Panthers outshoot the Caps 13-7. However, it's the Capitals with 2 second-period goals. Discover second intermission report on the way. Talking hockey. We go right into the game. All right? You've been watching the Discover second intermission report. Let's go. Sip it slowly, people. Third period next. Focus.
Okay, this is a
Where that road leads is the place where dreams come true.
Welcome back to the Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN, presented by Geico. Florida Panthers, winners of the President's Trophy. They're down by 2 in Game 3 to the Washington Capitals after 2 periods. But, Brian Boucher, you look at the second period recap, not like the Panthers got dominated that period, even though the Caps scored the 2 goals.
Yeah, some of it had to do with the power plays that the Panthers had early on in that period. They're getting their chances. They're not getting their chances off of the rush, which is something that we've been used to seeing. They found a way to get pucks in, as we talked about, heading into the last period, and win some pucks and create some opportunities that way. So that's a positive. They're down by 2. I suspect if they can get this killed, we're going to see a full-on attack here by the Florida Panthers after this kill. But still, again, there's not a lot off the rush, but I'm encouraged by the fact that they've started to win some pucks in the offensive zone. Let's see if they can find a way again, like I said at the end of the first, to find a way to solve Samsonov.
Here's a drive from Ekblad right out of the chute, short-handed, as Washington with 1:35 to begin this third to work with. And Ovechkin had it taken away, and now Barkov with it. He will vault it forward. Big opportunity for Washington here on the power play with 1:10 remaining. Hornquist still in the box. Backstrom fires it in. Kuznetsov on the receiving end. In behind Bobrovsky. Spills out to the near side and cleared by Florida. .45 seconds remaining on the Washington power play. Trying to sync up out of the back. Here's Backstrom. Had that dandy of an assist to TJ Oshie. The eventual game-winning goal in Game 1 down in Sunrise, Florida. Washington trying to get something started here. Puck back to the point with Carlson. Now along the wall. Kuznetsov got it low. Couldn't get a pass off toward Ovechkin or into the slot. And now Ovechkin trying to sweep it out of there. Final 10 seconds. Backstrom in the corner. Pursued by Korsley. Now Kuznetsov. Pivots back. Almost swatted out of the air. And the penalty killed off by Florida. So back to even strength. Here's Reinhart from the circle. Easy save for Samsonov. Down takes a hit. Clears the puck. And brought down by Ben Sherratt. First 2 minutes of period number 3. Florida with it, down by 2. Goes down for icing. We go down to Leah.
Mike, coming into the series, the Capitals were the underdogs in the standings, but that's where it ends, especially when it comes to postseason experience. The Florida Panthers have 2 more players that have played in the playoffs compared to the Capitals, but that's where it ends. The Caps have combined for over 1,300 playoff games, nearly double the Panthers, and 13 players on Washington's active roster have won Stanley Cups a total of 16 times compared to Florida's 3 in total. But the Panthers did add some experience at the deadline with players like Giroux, who went to a Stanley Cup final in 2010, and Ben Sherratt, who was in the final last year with the Montreal Canadiens.
Right off the faceoff, backhand Bentley is shoveled high. Garnet Hathaway swooped in for the Capitals off a faceoff win. Dmitry Orlov takes a hit, but got the puck deep. Karam's out. Montour got it ahead for the Panthers. Through center ice, top line for Florida. Barkov skates onto it from Huberdeau, takes it in deep. Banks it back to the point. Uyghur's shot gets blocked on the way through by Hathaway to the right of Samsonov. Marchman in pursuit, held in by Uyghur. Around the splintered stick and out to center. First 2.5 in the third. Here's Jensen. Skating up towards center ice. He lost the handle. And Verhaeghe had it gloved down by Eller. Lars Eller had it roll off of his stick, but still controls it. Gets it to the corner. Now Sherry. McMichael gets it back to the blue line. Shot comes in with traffic in front. And handled by Bobrovsky and the Panthers, but held in. Ricocheting puck to the left of Bobrovsky. Duclair couldn't pry it free. Along the half wall. Ekblad applying pressure. Duclair and sync up with Verhaeghe. And Schultz on it for Washington.
A good shift from the Eller line. You think about the power play that didn't connect early on in the period. It could always swing momentum the other way, but then you have a hard work shift like that by the Eller group, and they spend a lot of time in the offensive zone, and that kind of keeps the momentum in your favor. So a good shift there by Eller and his wingers.
Mantha finished the check on Gudas. He had to go back and get his stick, and now Forsling fans on the shot. And Reinhart taps it to Giroux. Back for Reinhart to save Samsonov. Here comes Washington with Yo Hudson. Numbers ahead. And unable to enter cleanly.
A good job there by Gustav Forsling. Knocks that puck out of midair. Could have created a better opportunity for the Caps. But before that, another big save by Samsonov. The feed behind the goal line. Reinhart with a good look. But the Caps netminder with the answer once again.
Andrew Burnett told us today, Forsling gaps up as well as anyone in the NHL. Off the back of the net, behind Samsonov. And now along the near side boards, Kuznetsov skates it in over the line now. Jensen joining the fray. Gets past the sliding Ekblad. Ovechkin waiting along the wall instead, the opposite way toward Kuznetsov, and picked up by Florida as Marchment locates and banks it out. Now Hornquist walks in. He's in the circle, backhand, saves Samsonov. Achari finishes a check. Panthers couldn't glove it down with Marchment. Here's Ovechkin. Dangling through. Ovechkin! Denied by Bobrovsky. Ovechkin thought he scored and can't believe that Sergei Bobrovsky held this thing out. Wow.
Great individual effort here by Ovechkin. He wanted a hooking call right there. You can see right there, he's barking at the officials, wants a hook. Great move from the outside to the inside on Sherratt. Sherratt recovers by getting his stick in on the hands of Ovechkin. No call is made, but make no mistake, that was a terrific individual effort by the grade 8. Not able to cash in. Boy, that would have been a goal that would have blew the roof off this building. Big save by Bobrovsky.
With Washington ahead by 2, 15:04 to go in the third. Larson steps in to take it against Barkov, and it spills back out toward the Washington end.
And if the Panthers come back in this game, remember that save by Bobrovsky. That could have made it 4-1.
Touched on and icing at 14:48, and then Sherratt levies a hit on Garnet Hathaway. Well, on Monday, tune in for a couple of Game 4s here on ESPN. The Rangers and the Penguins currently locked at 1 game apiece. They start at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Predators and the Avalanche in Nashville. The road to the Stanley Cup rolls on here on ESPN. Dale McCarr had the overtime game winner for Colorado.
I felt like he had the puck on his stick all night long in that game. I think Connor Ingram, the only guys he's going to see all night long were McCarr and McKinnon. They seem to have chance after chance, yet weren't able to score until winning the game in overtime. Some really talented players on that Avalanche team.
Off a face-off controlled by Florida. Verhaeghe trying to get it back to Bennett. Washington caroms it out to the neutral zone, and Larson skates onto it. Shadowed by Ekblad, who gets a piece of it, and back for Weegar. 14.5 to go here in the third period of Game 3. Series tied at 1 game apiece, and Washington leading this game by 2. At the half wall out to center, McMichael grew into the lineup today this afternoon for the Capitals. Still no Tom Wilson. He's been out the last 2 games. Bobrovsky gave it away to Sherry. Forsling spun it back for Bennett. And Florida rushes up ice with Claude Giroux. Chipping it back for Montour. Getting involved for Florida. And back out toward the logo.
A really good back check there by McMichael. Could have been a 3-on-2, but McMichael got back, made it a 3-on-3, and that's why the Panthers have not had a lot of rush opportunities in this series.
Back to the point. There's Montour. Moving it along for Marchment. Now ricochets off of Eller. Eller blocks another one. Now Marchment with it. Trying to center out in front for Lindell. Somehow got all the way through toward him. And outside the zone. Now Marchment pivoting through the circle. Lost the handle. And Sherry catapults it ahead. Johansson skates onto it and wins the puck. Heels it back without numbers. Gets it far side now for Backstrom. Jab back in for Johansson. Coming up on 13 to go in the third. Mantha moves it along. Big physical frame. He gets it back to the blue line. Moved along for Orlov. Dmitry Orlov catches Marchment with it. Puck comes bouncing down along the half wall. Johansson with a hit on Gudis. Now Mantha with it. Anthony Mantha. Got it back toward Bobrovsky. 12:36 to go here in the third period. Well, as Bush said, the roof would have come off of this place if Alex Ovechkin had scored on this. Instead of a 3-goal lead, the lead is 2 for Washington on home ice in Game 3. The Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN are presented by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. Was tied for the fewest games in the NHL the last 30 years. And who was the last that it happened to in Washington? But that explosive offense has been held quiet in this one.
Yeah, and you wonder if frustration kicks in at some point, right? And whether they break away from the structure that they want to play with, or if they simply get undisciplined to the point where they get frustrated and start taking penalties. Something to keep an eye on as this game wears on and as this series wears on. The Caps have done a great job, again, as I've said a couple of times tonight, of not allowing the Panthers to create off the rush, and that's a big part of their offense.
Ovechkin picks off a Giroux pass and then fires it diagonally. Florida's been called the comeback Cats. 29 comeback wins this year, tied for the most in NHL history at a season. Off a Larson takeaway, Kuznetsov throws it back in the direction of the veteran Johan Larson. Being hounded by Bull, Bennett, and Ekblad. And out to center ice. 11:43 to go. And when you talk about all those comebacks, it includes a bunch of multi-goal comebacks. And in early April, 2 times in a 4-day span were there 4-goal comebacks within all of these for the Panthers.
Yeah, definitely creating a lot of excitement for their fans is something that Andrew Burnett, I'm sure, doesn't enjoy watching. I mean, getting in a hole like that and coming back. But playoffs, a much different story. Much harder to come back. The attention to detail defensively when you play your opponents is much more difficult, and I think the Panthers are finding that out right now in this series. The Caps have done a great job of frustrating this Panthers team and not allowing them to play the game that they want to play, which is a skating game.
Barkov gets it back from Duclair. Top line for Florida. Again, Andrew Burnett electing to do what he changed to in Game 2, pairing up superstar Jonathan Huberdeau with Alexander Barkov. And we've got a penalty here with 11:08 to go in this third period.
Number 11, interference.
Huberdeau interference and Washington to the power play.
Well, when you're trying to mount a comeback, right, I mean, the last thing you want to do is be taking penalties, and for Huberdeau, this hit on Nick Dowd it's unnecessary. I mean, that to me is a frustration hit. That's what I'm talking about. When you're down in a hockey game and things aren't going your way, you kind of do things that are uncharacteristic of what you typically do, and Huberdeau there takes an interference penalty, and the Caps are going to try and make him pay.
They're 1 for 4 on the power play so far, and they win it back to the point with Carlson. Moves it along Ovechkin, rink wide now, off a skate of Backstrom, and Florida picks it up. Reinhart couldn't connect there with Aaron Ekblad in the first 20 seconds here.
Now remember game 2, the 4-minute power play that didn't generate much. If nothing else, the Capitals have to garner momentum here by creating opportunities. This cannot be one of those kills for Florida that gives them momentum. So let's see how this power play plays out.
Backstrom skates, drops it off for Kuznetsov. Gets it below the goal line and now back. Carlson fires one that ricocheted in the front. Wide of Bobrovsky and clear.
Right idea. All right, Carlson, take what's given to you. Puck to the net.
Fresh legs onto the ice for Washington, but 8 in red stays out there. Sherry pursues. Forsling comes over defensively. Florida takes it away. Up ahead to the neutral zone. Radko Gudas stays patient. Sherry plucks it from him. And Washington with about 40 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Mantha through center. Johansson has had a strong game in this one, met by Forsling. Has entered the chat. It's a 3-goal lead.
He's had his chances in this series. Coming into tonight's game, he had 9 shots on goal. He was physical to start this game. And finally, he gets the look that he wants. Good entry by the Capitals. And then it's about winning the puck on the wall. Strength in numbers. Sherry's able to recover it. And he knows that Ovechkin's open on that weak side. And he is absolutely wide open. And he wires it past Sergei Bobrovsky. And there's some breathing room here in Washington.
His 72nd career playoff goal. And his first here of this series in game 3. And now the lead is 3 for the Capitals on home ice. The greatest power play goal scorer of all time does it here in the playoffs. With 9:23 to go in the third, Washington leads by 3. Up ahead for Reinhart, or rather Verhaeghe on it. Takes it into the corner, shadowed by Orlov, who's trying to push him off the puck. The chance ring out in reverence of Alex Ovechkin. Florida works to the net on the short side there of Samsonov, but Chari was trying to jam it home and lifted back toward the line. Held in by Florida. Marchman in deep, couldn't corral it. Jensen speeds to it, battling with Chari. And Eller trying to flip it out along the boards, and now Washington does punch it back toward the Florida end. Stretch pass, Karams away from Bennett. Larson pursues it. Duclair uses Sherratt.
And what really stings about that goal that was just scored by Ovechkin, it was an undisciplined penalty by Huberdeau, right? I talked about frustration and not letting it get the best of you. That was an undisciplined penalty by Huberdeau, and the fact that Ovechkin makes him pay it's a double whammy, you know? And this is exactly what the Capitals wanted by taking advantage on the power play.
Ovechkin and the Capitals lead by 3. 8:13 to go in the third. The Ovechkin line out there, and Oshie blasts off the face-off win. Van Riemsdyk plays it along toward the half wall, and now Bennett on it, skating up ice for Florida. Drops it off Duclair. In the circle, had it taken away. swatted down by Florida at the line, and now Giroux. To that point, Brian, had you seen any frustration showing in examples like that before Huberdeau's penalty?
No, not really. I mean, I think for the Panthers, I mean, their first game was a game that was filled with a lot of nerves. And Andrew Bennett admitted to that. There's some guys that were playing their first playoff games and significant players like Sam Reinhart. In game 2, they weathered the storm and then were able to capitalize, and they had a fun night in game 2. But tonight was a night where they had some chances, weren't able to capitalize. They haven't had a lot off the rush. They're trying to be physical. It's just one of those nights where you can just feel it, that frustration is starting to creep into their game, and something that they're going to have to make sure they monitor, and it doesn't turn into a problem as this series wears on.
A decisive blow from Alex Ovechkin. His Caps team leads by 3 with 7:10 to go in the third period.
The heavy hitter. The original. The award winner. The non-conformist. The weekend warrior. There's an award-winning Ram truck just for you. Available now with our biggest inventory in 22 months during month of Ram. Get up to $5,000 in discounts for select owners. Plus, financing as low as 2.99%.
Lemons, lemons, lemons. The world is so full of lemons. When you become an Expedia member, you can instantly start saving on your travel.
By example here tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. He was physical early on in the game, got himself involved that way. There wasn't a lot going on offensively early, so he decided to lay the body several times. And then on the power play, the assist, getting the puck to the net quickly, and then vintage Alex Ovechkin on the power play. The feed from Connor Sherry, one of 2 shots for Ovechkin, gives the Capitals some breathing room. But I really like the approach of Ovechkin here this afternoon. Get physical early on, get his team engaged, and then lead the way offensively with a goal and an assist.
And a 3-goal lead as we tick under 7 to go in the third period. Karavari at the line, comes ricocheting back out in his direction. He jockeys with Patrick Warnquist. Larson couldn't get it through the wickets. And now Montour skates it up ice. Gets it wide for Florida. Montour and corral it. He's trying to connect with Huberdeau. Glove down by Barkov, shielding himself from a hit. And Washington back in. On the backhand bid, that is saved on Dowd. Bobrovsky had the puck go back out to his right as Dowd lost his stick. Florida in danger of going down 2-1 here on the road. Out of game 3 as this series shifted from Sunrise, Florida. Here's Achari with speed, doesn't get a shot off. Gudis got it back toward the slot in the direction of Verhaeghe. Played back in by Forsling. Here's Bennett in the corner. Harassed by Backstrom. And Washington takes it away through center ice. Forsling moved it along. Now Verhaeghe gets crushed by Eller. And Reeves not counting.
Verhaeghe saw him at the last minute and was able to jump out of the way. Otherwise, it would have been a big hit there by Eller.
Love down, and now Lundell, the rookie, feeds Marchment. Shot goes wide, back to the right point. Ekblad stepping forward. Reinhart trying to dig it out. Weegar threw it out in front with Lundell crisscrossing. Coming up on the final 5 minutes here in the third. Sherry in pursuit. Schultz back behind the goal line. Lundell pivots it along for Marchment. Now Reinhardt back for Marchment. He feeds out in front with Uyghur cutting. And cleared out to neutral ice. Marchment back in. Now Reinhardt centering and smothered by Ilya Samsonov. And a mix-up after the whistle.
Let's throw away off field.
Uyghur at odds with Martin Faravari. Oshie searching for his helmet. And a 3-goal lead for Washington with 4:49 to go. Game 3 in the Caps. They have the lead. Ovechkin with a goal and an assist in this one on home ice.
No matter what path you're on, Easy Financial.
Scott Van Pelt, he's got to love what he has seen here with Washington leading Florida 4-1 in Game 3, 4:49 to go. Brian Boucher, Leah Hextall, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you. Sergei Bobrovsky has vacated his net, and the power play has been crucial as Florida's come up empty. And, yeah, find SVP where across the country. It lives on. So 6-on-5 as we enter the final 5 minutes. Brought to you by Geico. Huberdeau moves it along. Barkov, a one-timer, didn't make it all the way through. Huberdeau keeps it alive, and now Barkov midpoint. Throwing it wide of Samsonov. Shot back up in the air, gloved down by Carlson. Under 4.5 remaining. Forward battle at the end boards, and rifled. Score! The length of the ice, and Washington with an exclamation point. They love to gamble, and John Carlson connects like Lars Eller did in Game 1.
Now, when you got a 3-goal lead, you got a green light to do whatever you want from behind the goal line. And you know, look at Scott Van Pelt. He's happy with the fist pump, and he, along with 18 other Capitals fans, is happy with the way this afternoon went for the team in red. They have been all over it early on. The physicality, the importance of penalty kills, timely saves by their goaltender, and they find themselves with a 4-goal lead here late in the third.
So Florida coming on the road, unable to activate that power play in this one, and that has proven costly for the Panthers. Been a big story in this series. And if they don't get it going, Brian, what's going to happen?
Well, the thing that I'm concerned about for the Panthers now through 3 games is they've got 0 power play goals in this series. And Andrew Burnett talked about wanting to play with the lead here in this game because he feels like when they play with the lead, the Capitals have to open things up and their neutral zone structure's not there. And then the skating game and the chances off the rush tend to be there more readily for the Florida Panthers. Well, they had a 1-0 lead to start this afternoon. They had a power play late in the first period that they didn't convert on. Then they took a penalty on it. And then eventually the Caps were able to respond and make it 1-1. And then it's been all Washington after that. So if there's one area of concern right now, power play could be a big help for this Panthers team to allow them to get to that skating rush game that they want to play.
Ovechkin was trying to drive the net. He was met defensively by Forsling, and a penalty here with 3:07 remaining in the third.
Yeah, too many men on the ice for Florida.
Florida, bench minor penalty. Too many men on the ice.
The last time the Florida Panthers were held to 1 goal in a game was January 18th at Calgary.
That's
they played
incredible.
43 regular season games after that, plus the first couple of games of this series.
You know, you're going to face adversity come playoff time at some point. You just don't know when. How you respond to the adversity is what's important. It didn't go Andrew Burnett's way or the Panthers' way this afternoon. They're going to have to find a way. As I mentioned, the chances off the rush aren't there. They've showed a willingness to want to get in there and win some pucks and create some chances off of pucks behind the goal line. Samsonov came up with some critical saves at key times. Now the key for the Panthers is making sure that they don't get frustrated throughout the course of this series.
Well, it's been talked about in the first couple of games of this series that Florida has not won a playoff series since 1996, and that's the longest drought in NHL history. And when you look at other sports and the comparables, the Charlotte Hornets, you've got the Panthers here after in 96 they advanced to the Stanley Cup Finals, and then the Cincinnati Reds, their last series win in 1995. And for Florida, they haven't even led a playoff series in terms of the games since 2012.
I still think this series has a lot of legs left to it, man. You know, it's going to be a long one. The fact that they've played some good hockey all year long, I don't think this team is in trouble by any stretch. I do think that they need to figure things out on the power play, and if they do that, some of that offensive confidence can come back into their game.
Washington with it here with 2:30 to go. 1:20 remaining on the power play. Ovechkin triggered again, forcing Bobrovsky to his right. Back to the line, Ovechkin. Into the rink wide. Oshie out in front. That got knocked out by Uyghur and shoveled out. The decision, too, to go with Ilya Samsonov has paid off for Peter Laviolette.
It certainly has. I was completely wrong. You know, to me, I just didn't feel like Vanacek, he gave up a bad third goal. I didn't know that that warranted, you know, not getting another opportunity at it, seeing the series was tied at 1, but Laviolette went with a hunch, and the hunch paid off because Samsonov has been nothing short of spectacular here this afternoon.
Long way to go in the series, but Washington with goaltending solidified is how dangerous in the grand scope of the playoffs.
With really good, solid goaltending, they are very dangerous because of the experience that Leah highlighted earlier in the show. You know, when you have experience and guys that have been there before that can still play, that's trouble come playoff time. Now, if the goaltending lets them down, who knows? But this Caps team seems to be playing with some confidence right now through 3 games, even though they did give up a loss in game 2.
Ovechkin was thinking about it at the expiration of Marchment serving the penalty. Batted wide of the net. With a minute to go here in the third. And Washington about to head up 2-1. Listen to this place. Speeding ahead, down, leaves it off. Larson, save, rebound, score! Puts it home, and another stamp of exclamation for Washington.
Well, you want everybody to get in on the fun, right? You have a great afternoon. You may as well get your lunch pail guys to chip in as well. The fourth line contributes. A high flip leads to an opportunity for Larson, the save. But the rebound goes right on the tape of Garnet Hathaway. And after Larson takes a huge hit from Sherratt, he finds a way to celebrate with his line mate, and Garnet Hathaway is able to make it 6-1.
Final 40 seconds here in D.C. Day 6 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. We're just getting started over the next few months. So the Caps will lead this 2-1 ahead of Game 4 on Monday. You can watch that on TBS at 7 o'clock. Then Game 5 Wednesday back in Sunrise, Florida on ESPN2, a 7:30 start.
You know, the other thing to keep in mind, too, Bobrovsky was a question mark coming into these playoffs, and how would he respond come postseason? He looked very good through 2 games. You get 6 past him, you start chipping away at confidence. So this is an important win for the Capitals on a lot of fronts. An impressive win, one that they should feel real good about.
6-1 the final. Caps over Cats, and Washington leads 2-1. It was 1-1 after the first period. And then 5 goals from Washington between the second and the third periods, including from Alex Ovechkin. And Washington takes Game 3 on home ice.
Yeah, congratulations to Ilya Samsonov, his first career playoff victory. That's a good feeling. You want to get that one out of the way. Last year didn't go his way in that Boston series. But boy, oh boy, was he really good this afternoon when they needed him most. I thought the first goal of the game was maybe one he could have got a piece of, fight it off somehow. He didn't. But after that, I mean, boy, did he shut the door in an impressive way.
And maybe his biggest save kick-started what proved to be the eventual game winner from Marcus Johansson in the second.
Yeah, a timely save at one end of the ice, and then the response down at the other end by Johansson, and the rest is history. Just an overall impressive win from the Capitals this afternoon. I'm still impressed by the fact that they've been able to really stifle the Panthers with regard to their skating game.